And if this is supposed to be like the safe space, man, a lot of these people sure look like zombies already.
Welcome to Silvermint's AI Art Challenge, where we have our team using AI to create art of where they'd want to live during a zombie apocalypse. Let's see what they come up with.
Instead of using Stable Diffusion or a different kind of AI software, we're going to be using Midjourney. We have a version of the Imagine GPT on our Discord, and that's what I'm going to try to play around with. I think when you're using a tool kind of like Ask GPT, this gets a little complicated because it doesn't always listen to you, right? And so one thing that you have to really focus on is just coming up with a concept, and it doesn't have to be perfect. If you use something like Midjourney and you're using their actual server and you're paying for it, you get access to a lot more realistic features and you get access to a lot more. But with something like this, where we're just using it on a regular server and it's something that you can just use with using like Nitro, it's a good time. And I think generally you can get a good concept of what you're talking about. When I was trying to create the Alcatraz in the zombie apocalypse, it didn't do a perfect job, but some of them did look cool. It wasn't exactly what was in my head, and I had a hard time articulating exactly what I needed. But, it came up with ideas nonetheless.
So we've got this fortified island with castle walls, steep ramparts that can be easily defended. A lot of the time it's surrounded by water and so isn't accessible. Seems a reasonable place to store a bunch of food to last out the time. The thing about Stable Diffusion, as I was mentioning, is that it has trouble doing lots of concepts at the same time. So if you have one particular idea that has one concept and that you're elaborating on that one concept, it's an excellent choice. If you want to put things together, Midjourney has people working on it as a business, and so they're adding features all the time, improving. Like in my picture, there's a half a body, right? There's just a pair of legs walking along with no top. Midjourney puts a lot of effort into getting body parts right, and so they have extra layers and extra tuning for making your people look good, but it costs some money. So if you enjoy it and you want to put some more effort into getting really high quality images out, then Midjourney is an excellent choice. At the moment, you pretty much have to be a computer scientist to do it. Within the next few months, probably less than a year, I'm sure there are going to be those who take that and make it a lot easier to do. That's coming very soon.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I don't have it here, but I did another prompt a minute ago that was the sprawl from the book Neuromancer, which is a science fiction cyberpunk novel, and it created some neat images for that.
Now, I don't know what's made available freely online through websites and its abilities. Certainly is the case that the online websites and APIs that let you do this have greater restrictions than what you could do if you could train your own model, for sure. None of this is really that hard. Once you have the training algorithm, these aren't particularly complicated algorithms, it's just feeding in data, and it does its own thing, right? All the extraction of meaning that's happening when the model gets trained is happening automatically. You just have a relatively small chunk of code that does all of the matrix math. It took decades to get to where we are now, which required innovation both in hardware and in software. But now that we have the hardware and the software, we put them together. Now it's easier. It's pretty amazing. And this is off my machine, right? So this isn't like special hardware or anything like that. This guy's lower back just glows. Here, like, this is not a foot. And that's not a foot either. That's what's going on? And then this guy's got one foot that's like clown shaped. These people don't look like people. There's a bunch of stuff I haven't played with. Like there's an upscaler to get better resolution that I think I want to play with it at some point. I think it does things like fill in faces so that instead of generating Cyclops looking blob for a face, it like actually converts it to like a higher resolution thing. But ease of use to me as a developer means that I can poke a prod at it and do things with it. So I will be likely to play with this every afternoon for an hour or so for quite some time. We don't really know where this is going.